Board meeting to order for Tuesday, January 10th, 2023. First item is roll call. Will clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Bishke.
Present.
Trustee Madej.
Present.
Trustee Dunham.
Present.
Trustee Sullivan.
Present.
Trustee Clare.
Present.
President Daly.
Present. All present and accounted for. I would like to ask Trustee Bishke to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise as you're able. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Trustee Bishke.
My pleasure.
I do want to do a reminder, if you have any cell phones or any other electronic devices that make noise, please turn those off. Next item is the approval of minutes for December 13th, 2022. Questions, comments?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes from December 13th, 2022. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is the approval of expenditures for $9,702,731.01.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve as presented. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Bishke.
Aye.
Trustee Madej.
Aye.
Trustee Dunham.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Clare.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays. Motion carries. Next item is a liquor license request from Mr. Len Wagner for one Class A liquor license for Velocity Esports located at E108 Woodfield Mall. Please come forward. So if you wouldn't mind, sign in, and there should be a sign in there, right there. Sign in and then state your name and address for the record, and then just tell us what you're looking to do. This is a new license, new location.
Hi, my name is Leonard Wanger from Chicago, Illinois. Velocity Esports is looking to open a restaurant and video arcade in the old Kinfork space at the Woodfield Mall.
Okay.
So this is, if folks are familiar with the mall, they're at the backside next to where the J.C. Penney's is and where the Pace bus stop is. This is our third restaurant. We also have restaurants already that are open in Newport, Kentucky, the greater Cincinnati area, in Las Vegas. And this is approximately a 15,000 square foot center. It's about 6,000 square feet of video arcade. I want to make a distinction. This isn't video gaming as in gambling. This is in arcade machines like Pac-Man and pinball. It has a full-service sit-down restaurant in it, as well as a full-service bar. So the liquor license in question is to be able to sell beer, wine, and mixed drinks along with the center. And just to let folks know, too, this is the food and beverage. It represents about 30% of the revenue in our centers. It's not primarily a bar. It's really to facilitate people who are either having an event there or eating at the restaurant. I'd be happy to answer any other questions. I don't know if that's enough of an overview for you.
That's a good start. Menu, what kind of menu you going to have?
So the menu is, I'd call it elevated bar food. It's American and Mexican classics. So it's hamburgers, pizzas, and appetizers primarily.
Okay. Questions from the board? No? Okay, seeing none, you'll need to go to the Liquor Commissioner's office, which is also the mayor's office, upstairs during normal business hours, and you'll fill out an application for the liquor license. There's a background check and a number of other things along with paying an application fee, and then hopefully the license will be issued.
Terrific. Thank you for having me tonight.
That's all. You're welcome to stay or leave.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item is the consent agenda for the board. The consent agenda will be read in its entirety, voted on as one motion to approve. If you wish to discuss any item further, please indicate that when the item is read by the village clerk so that it can be removed from the consent agenda and discussed further under committee reports. Otherwise, all items will be approved as presented on the consent agenda in one motion to approve. Will the clerk please call or read the consent agenda? Thank you.
Number 1, Engineering and Public Works. The motion would be to authorize participation in the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Contract and award the purchase of one replacement excavator to McCann Industries of Bolingbrook, Illinois, in the amount of $133,412. B, the motion would be to authorize participation in the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Contract and award the purchase of one replacement towmaster trailer to McCann Industries of Bolingbrook, Illinois, in the amount of $38,016. C, the motion would be to authorize the village manager and village clerk to execute an agreement for professional engineering services for flow monitoring with RJN Group, Inc. of Wheaton, Illinois, in the amount of $174,730 and approve the required resolution. D, the motion would be to authorize the village manager and village clerk to execute an agreement for construction engineering services for the American Lane Culvert Rehabilitation Project with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley of Aurora, Illinois, in the amount of $98,620 and approve the required resolution. E, the motion would be to authorize the village manager and village clerk to execute an amendment to the agreement for supplemental engineering services with Chastain and Associates, LLC of Schaumburg, Illinois, in the amount of $110,000 and approve the required resolution. F, the motion would be to direct staff to conduct further needs assessment analysis of facilities with a Phase 2 planning study for Atcher Municipal Center and Public Safety Building. 2, finance, legal, administrative, and general government. A, the motion would be to approve the Finance Department monthly report for November 2022. B, the motion would be to approve membership in the United States Conference of Mayors and that the membership dues in the amount of $5,269 be paid. C, the motion would be to adopt an ordinance amending Title 11, Chapter 112, Section 112.03, G9 of the Schaumburg Village Code relative to waiting period requirements for video gaming licenses. D, the motion would be to adopt an ordinance amending various sections of Title 13 of the Schaumburg Municipal Code to incorporate process revisions and socially appropriate and contemporary language. F or E, the motion will be to approve a pledge in the amount of $10,000 to the Golden Corridor Advanced Manufacturing Partnership. F, the motion would be to authorize the village manager and village clerk to execute the First Amendment to the redevelopment agreement between the Village of Schaumburg and IG Capital, LLC for 200 South Roselle Road. G, the motion would be to authorize the village manager and village clerk to finalize and execute the purchase and sales agreement between the Village of Schaumburg and AIKG, LLC. 3, Committee of the Whole. The motion would be to approve an amendment to the policy statement 1.106 Old Schaumburg Center Farmers Market. B, the motion would be to approve the proposed personnel manual and benefits handbook. C, the motion would be to accept the multi-year capital improvement plan and approve the projects for the year 2023-24 for incorporation into the budget. D, the motion would be to approve a one-time residential rebate payment of $150 per household. 4, Public Safety Committee. A, the motion would be to authorize the expenditures for a mobile mental health unit grant from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration in the amount of $340,000. B, the motion would be to authorize the village president and village clerk to execute an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Schaumburg and School District 54 for the school resource officers, approve the required resolution, and increase the police department's authorized sworn officer staffing from 117 to 118 officers. 5, Zoning Board of Appeals. A, the motion would be to approve a site plan amendment, driveway addition, and landscape variations for MT Auto and Diesel Services, 550 Lunt Lane. B, the motion would be to approve a site plan amendment, facade and site modifications, special use for an internet auto sales facility, landscape variation, and parking variations for Savage Shop LLC, 979 Lunt Avenue. 6, award a bid. The motion would be to award a bid for the construction of the American Lane Culvert Rehabilitation Project with the Municipal and Contractors Sealing Products, Inc. of Cincinnati, Ohio, in the amount of $1,999,935. B, the motion would be to award a bid for Lenovo computers to the lowest responsible bidder, Y&S Technologies of Brooklyn, New York, in the amount of $89,350. 7, traffic agreements. The motion would be to authorize the village manager to execute the traffic agreement between the Village of Schaumburg and SDG Meacham LLC, located at 1325 North Meacham Road. 8, resolutions. The motion would be to adopt as resolution R23-001, approving and authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between School District 54 and the Village of Schaumburg relative to school resource officers. B, the motion would be to adopt as resolution number R22-002, authorizing First Amendment to redevelopment agreement for 200 South Roselle Road between the Village of Schaumburg and IG Capital LLC. C, the motion would be to adopt as resolution number R23-003, authorizing the village manager and village clerk to execute a purchase and sales agreement between the Village of Schaumburg and AIKG LLC. D, the motion would be to adopt as resolution number R23-004, amending portions of the Benefits Handbook and Personnel Manual for employees of the Village of Schaumburg. E, the motion would be to adopt as resolution number R23-005, authorizing the village manager and village clerk to execute an agreement for professional engineering services for flow monitoring with RJN Group, Inc. F, the motion would be to adopt as resolution number R23-006, authorizing the village manager and village clerk to execute an agreement for construction engineering services for American Lane Culvert Rehabilitation Project with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley. G, the motion would be to authorize the village manager and village clerk to execute an amendment to the agreement for supplemental engineering services agreement with Chastain and Associates, LLC. 9, ordinances. A, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance number 23-001, granting a site plan amendment, driveway addition, and landscape variations for MT Auto and Diesel Services, 550 Lunt Avenue. B, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance number 23-002, granting a site plan amendment, facade and site modifications, special use for an internet auto sales facility, landscape variation, and parking variations for Savage Shop LLC, 979 Lunt Avenue. C, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance number 23-003, amending Title 11, Chapter 112, Section 112.03, G9 of the Schaumburg Village Code relative to waiting period requirements for video gaming licenses. D, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance number 23-004, amending various sections of Title 13 of the Schaumburg Municipal Code to correct outdated language and to incorporate more inclusive language. This concludes the consent agenda.
Thank you, Village Clerk. With no other comments there, I look for a motion to approve the consent agenda as has been read.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve as been read. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Bischke?
Aye.
Trustee Madej?
Aye.
Trustee Dunham?
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan?
Aye.
Trustee Clare?
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Thank you very much. Committee reports, we have none listed. I assume there is none for this evening. Comments from the audience. This is a point in which we allow comments from the audience for items that might be pertinent towards the Village of Schaumburg. If someone has something that needs to speak before the board, please come up and give your name and address and hold forth. Yes, by all means. So if you wouldn't mind, please
I already
sign in.
signed in.
Oh, okay, great. You're at it again. Thank you.
First of all,
And your name is?
Robert, middle initial R. Kornowski,
Okay, thank you.
one of the first of the Spring Cove West residents more than 4 decades ago.
Okay,
And many in that section of Schaumburg are well past retirement age like myself. First of all, thank you so much for safeguarding Bob Atcher's vision for the future. I raised my children here, and their children have children. It's a long, long time, and I'm glad I'm here compared to what I hear from others who worked in other communities. The special request is simply that in retirement and living check to check from Social Security monthly for utilities, personal needs, there's 10 or 20 bucks left in the bank account. If the residential rebate payment came in any other way than a personal check through United States mail to the residents, it'd be really hard for us to know how much to hold back on stuff like food. And it would be gratefully requested if those, at least in our part of the community, could receive that benefit by check rather than as a credit to property taxes, which I have learned are being manipulated by Chicago to pay a huge debt for benefits to the sanctuary members who are not legal citizens. And that's going in the wrong place, and from what I've seen Schaumburg do long-term, and I'm so grateful for, the check would be the best for us who are retired. Next year I turn 80, my wife turns 75, and
sure.
we love it
Let me
here.
interrupt you and
We love it here.
let you know that this morning we talked about, announced, and the board is in agreement that we will be providing a check in the form of $150 to owner-occupied homes in the village, whether it be single-family, townhouse, condos, kind of as a property tax rebate. So it will be in the form of a check to you, so you can then decide how you want to disperse those funds.
In the bank, and we pay our bills.
That's, yeah, your choice at that point. So,
But at least we know what
Yeah.
we're dealing with, what we have.
yeah, we did feel that was the best approach. There's been other approaches. Elk Grove Village, if you're familiar, did it in the form of a debit card, and they've got a very sophisticated way of doing that. In our case, we're doing it in the form of a check.
I should have known by all you've done in the past that really thinks about our needs. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. All right. Anyone else? And I'm going to move on to council report.
No report this evening. Thank you.
Okay. And then we come to President's report, and I have a few items for this evening, which I think most of you are here for. As you're probably aware, we have an empty seat down here, and that was a beloved friend, Trustee Frank Kozak, been around a long time, one of the founding members. He was here back in the 70s. I think he came here in 68, 69. So he moved here in 69, so he was one of the early founders here in the village, lived here, got involved in all sorts of activities, and ultimately on the village board here. So he passed away beginning of December, and we certainly do miss him in all his knowledge. Unfortunately, when someone leaves, you lose a lot of institutional knowledge besides the friendships that you've developed with people. So that said, we have looked to replace him, And I'm happy to say that we have made a selection, and that's before the board tonight to vote on to approve, and that is Isha Patel. And am I pronouncing your name correctly? I keep saying Isha, and somebody said, that's not wrong. You're doing it wrong. It's Aisha. So I've been doing it for the last month at least wrong, so my apologies. So Aisha Patel is the one who has been recommended, currently serving on the Cultural Commission. She's also got her own business, her and her husband, a very successful business, and we'd like to see her take that seat on this board. So I have presented her as a recommendation to this board, and I look for a concurrence.
I will nominate her as
Second.
Thank you. So motion and a second to concur with that recommendation. Just a voice vote is sufficient, I assume?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. So you have been selected. Now, we do have to do the swearing-in ceremony. So if you will come forward. If your husband wants to join you and stand next to you, that's quite all right. And then Marilyn, why don't you come on up over here? And Marilyn will do the, Marilyn, the village clerk, will actually do the swearing-in. Okay, here we. So I'm going to ask you to take your seat, if you wouldn't mind, at the end down here, next to Jamie. He won't bite. He's a nice guy.
That's a good thing.
Next item on the agenda, and feel free to take any pictures you want at this time. But the next item is the recommendation to appoint the chairperson and members of standing committees. So for those that don't know, we have a number of what we refer to as standing committees. They are transportation, planning, building and development, public safety, finance, engineering and public works, and health and human services. And each board member chairs one committee and sits on two others. So you're on 3 committees out of those 6. And if you figure that out, it ends up that we've got enough that covers it all and handles that. They meet at different times. For instance, transportation is always on the first Tuesday of the month. Planning, building, development is on the first Thursday, et cetera. So I'm going to just read these a little bit for the record and who is on which committees. Most are pretty close to where they were, but with her addition, we did shift things around a little bit. So this will be effective once we vote on it this evening. For transportation, Brian Bischke is chairperson. Mark Madej and Jamie Clark are on there as members. That's the first Tuesday at 7 p.m. of every month. Planning, building, development is first Thursday at 7 p.m. Jack Sullivan, chairperson. George Dunham and Aisha Patel. I did say that correct, right? Thank you. Okay. Public safety is the second Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. Jamie Clark, chairperson. George Dunham, Jack Sullivan, members. Finance committee, third Monday of every month at 7 p.m. George Dunham is chairperson. Brian Bischke and Jamie Clark for members. Engineering and public works, third Thursday, 7 p.m. Mark Madej, chairperson, Brian Bishke, and Aisha Patel. So you're going to get, this one will be a little bit of a workout for you, but lots of interesting stuff that goes on in the village. Health and Human Services is the fourth Thursday at 7 p.m., and you will be the chairperson for that committee. Jack Sullivan and Mark Madej will be your members on that committee. So with that, I look for a motion to concur with all those.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. So we have gone through that. That is all I have for now. Managers report?
I have no report this evening.
New business? Seeing none. Unfinished business? Trustee comments and mentions?
Welcome, Aisha.
Okay. All right. And then I look for a motion to adjourn. Excellent.
Second.
Okay. So motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Now, we do have, so we are adjourned. We do have some refreshments, some coffee, some punch, and we did pick up a number of sweets from, and I forget, what's the location we went to? Pardon me?
Hot breads.
I'm sorry.
It's called hot
Padres.
breads.
Okay, so over there by Patel Brothers, and so we've got some great sweets, so please help yourself to them and take pictures, whatever, if you want to get pictures of her sitting there and et cetera, you know, it's all up to you. We are adjourned, so you're welcome to get up and move around. Thank you.